Welcome back to Pompey Scrapbook, your home for some historical videos and some chatting through some Pompey games on the internet. How you been, Tony?
Oh, been good. Yeah, it's been a while. It seems to be a while since we've done one of these, but good to get back into it. Looking forward to this one.
Yeah, it's a quiet time of year, isn't it? We're off season. I think Portsmouth have just signed their first player of the summer. So yeah, we're looking forward to things ramping up soon.
We've
Um,
got the Euros to look forward to now as well. So
yes, we've got the Euros going on, so I'm sure we'll comment on that in the days to come. See how England
yeah,
start to fare.
yeah.
Okay, we are going back to where we began this little journey, and we're going to do a club video. So today sees us review Pompey and their adventures against Bournemouth, was who we've selected. What do we think of Bournemouth as a club then, Tony?
It's a strange one, isn't it? Because you go back 15, 20 years, Bournemouth were always the small club. We were the big boys, and we'd often play them in pre-season games as the big club going down to play the smaller league side. And of course, it's all switched around now. They're now the Premier League team. Have been for a few years. A little brief break in the Championship, but it's a strange one. But them being the bigger club than us, but are they really?
Yeah, so their ground capacity is what these days? 12,000?
11, 12,000.
Yeah. So how are they managing to maintain Premier League status on that?
With wealthy owners, I guess. Somebody who's got deep pockets and put the money in.
And I guess the other thing that's kept them there is got to be coaching, isn't it? They've been well managed. Obviously, they had that spell with Eddie Howe that
Yeah,
we put them
yeah,
on the right track, and they've just carried on from there, haven't they?
yeah. And when you saw them last year, they got some good players. They had a reasonably good side. So yeah, they're
It, it,
worthy of their spot in the Premier League at the moment. And
it,
fair play to them.
it is that cycle, isn't it? Of they'll find good players. They've got some good forwards, but it's a cycle, isn't it? Because they can only keep them for so long until
Yeah,
that player gets successful, then wants a hefty contract or wants a transfer, and they've
mm,
got to find the next one. And
yeah, yeah.
feel like sooner or later it will run out. But yeah, all fair play to them while they can. I think they've this year they've equalled out the number of seasons we did in the Premier League. So we did 7. I think they've now done 7 in their 2 spells they've had.
So that's the 7 that have just gone. So they're now about to embark on their eighth. Is that right?
I think that's right. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Well, yeah. It's fair play to them. Well done.
So in terms of the modern history, of course, you've got them and um, Brighton in the top flight, representing the south coast, and but neither of them have won a major trophy.
Not a major trophy. No, they've won divisional titles, but not a major trophy or a cup or.
Yeah, they won the championship, didn't they?
Yeah,
Almost one of the
yeah.
times they went up. Um,
I
yeah,
mean, to be fair, Bournemouth and Brighton have never come close to winning the title, and Brighton have got to the FA Cup final once, only once, isn't it?
Man United.
Man United, yeah.
Yeah,
So yeah,
yeah. So it's
I, I, guess,
that age
I
old
guess they,
debate we
I
have.
guess they've not got the resources to try to be close to winning anything again now. So
So it's that age-old debate we have, isn't it? And we have it with the other lot down the road as well. Of who's the most successful club, and they'll point at, look at these seasons we're in the Premier League, and we'll say, yeah, you've never won anything. So
yeah, they've had all these seasons making up the numbers.
absolutely, yeah. So we have got 3 games that you have handpicked against Bournemouth. We are going to start in which year, Tony?
This is
20.
2016,
Okay, and we
and it's an FA Cup tie.
so we start off with a. So what divisions are we in at this stage?
Well, we were in League Two, Division 4 in old money, and Bournemouth were in the Premiership or Premier League, whatever it was called then.
That's a
So
massive,
three divisions between us.
massive gap, isn't it?
Yeah.
So we're going to start off by playing a video from the club, which is entitled "Is it Pompey or is it Brazil? Is it Barcelona?" Sorry.
And this was because of the number of passes here. It's
Yeah, you can't see it on the screen the way we've got it cropped, but the official video counts the passes. I think we're up to 8 passes.
yeah,
So Pompey
and
keep ball against the Premier League team.
it is. They're playing keep ball against a team 3 divisions above us. And at some stage, every player in the team gets a touch of the ball, even the goalkeeper.
So you've seen Burgess.
There's Ben Close.
Yeah, Burgess, Ben Close. That was that McNulty dropping back in?
McNulty, yeah,
Who's on loan?
yeah, from Sheffield United. Was back to Matt Clark, back to the goalkeeper, Fulton, who was on loan from Liverpool, I believe.
He can't have played many games for us.
He's 6 or 7, something like that.
Yeah, I don't remember.
We used quite a lot of goalkeepers this season, so.
So, where were we?
It's quite impressive here that the possession football against a team 3 divisions above.
Yeah. So where were we at the club at this time? Who's manager?
This was Paul Cook's first season. We were just starting to be good again, if that's the way to put it. And this season was spent all around the top places, not quite making promotion, and then failing in the playoffs. The following season, of course, was the year we won League Two. So we were just starting to recover after the bad years.
Yeah, they're saying it's a 48 pass goal, but there was a Bournemouth touch there.
Yeah, but we won't count that. Matt Clark doing the twisty turny thing there. Back to Burgess.
So this is like a 2.5 minutes of only us having the ball, pretty much.
This is now Kyle Bennett.
McNulty.
And there's Gary Roberts. What a goal.
Where did we get Gary Roberts from?
Gary Roberts came from Chesterfield. He was there when Paul Cook was manager. He was very much Paul Cook's man.
It's a bit like Harry Redknapp and Nico Kranjčar, isn't it?
That sort of thing. Yeah, he's basically followed Paul Cook around because after he left us, he went to Wigan where Cook was manager.
Yeah.
Now Paul Cook's Chesterfield again, and Gary Roberts is there on the coaching staff. So
same match.
There we are.
Move it on a bit.
We were 1-0 up, but in the second half,
slightly less for their goal.
Yeah.
2.
Josh King.
He's a good example, isn't he, of the type of forwards they keep finding.
Yeah.
Simple, isn't it? As we've said on.
It is. It's an easy way of scoring, isn't it? Then it's a good block, but the second goal is not long in coming. Adam Webster there.
Yes. Yeah, 2 centre halves we sold for good money. Him and Clark, weren't they?
Yeah. Then the second goal is a bit of a scramble from this throw in, maybe. See, I think the game now we'd worn ourselves out, and it was a case of trying to hang on for the draw, but it wasn't quite going to happen. And it's Pugh who sort of scrambles it in.
So it's 2-1, 2-1 defeat, but
yep,
did ourselves proud.
Well, yeah, I remember thinking at the time there was a lot said about Pompey should be proud of the way they played, and I always think whenever somebody says that, it means you've lost, and I'd rather be not proud and win the game, but there you go.
So we started. We've got a defeat out of the way. So
Yep,
we like to keep these things fair, don't we? So let's
indeed,
go a
indeed.
Bournemouth win. So
But that was a we haven't played Bournemouth a lot in recent years, to be honest, and that was one of the few occasions.
here we have a Pompey card for Gary Roberts. 1984, 5 for 10, 20 goals for Pompey in 80 appearances. So he did a couple of seasons for us, didn't he?
He did 2 seasons. What we just seen was his first season, then the second one was the year we won League Two. I like Gary Roberts. I just thought he was that sort of player that if he played well, the team played well. And he was obviously Paul Cook's man because he's followed him around from club to club. Chesterfield, he was at then Wigan when Paul Cook went there, and now he's back at Chesterfield in a coaching role with Paul Cook. They obviously get on well, and yeah, I liked him.
Yeah, and obviously it went a little bit sour for him once Paul Cook went
Yeah, yeah,
until he got his move away. I think he left by
yeah,
mutual consent, didn't he, at the end?
yeah. But
79, 79.
he was part of the club rebuild that started us moving back upwards through the leagues again. So
Yeah. 79 we've given him.
yeah, that seems reasonable, doesn't it? The players around that time we had Jamal Lowe, who I think we gave 78.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
And
So it's
Jamal Lowe will go down in Pompey folklore, but Gary Roberts probably had a more significant impact on the team, didn't he? Like you said,
at the time.
at the
Yeah.
time, got us moving in the right direction. So
Yeah.
that's Gary Roberts.
Yeah.
Okay, we're heading off to 1990, I believe.
Hey, 1990. That's a long time ago, isn't it?
Yeah, we're going to start off with this little clip of the crowd here as we start this video. Let's have a look who's in the crowd.
Who can we find in the crowd then?
There's you.
Oh, look.
Who's this cool dude with the Raiders hat on? That was me.
We
you,
looked a bit.
you were saying
We looked a bit bored there, to be honest.
you were saying this day after this game in the evening there was a supporters club dinner.
It was a supporters club dinner in Sandown, and I'm trying to think, 4 or 5 of the players who were playing came over.
Yeah.
Certainly, Guy Whittingham, Alan McLaughlin.
So that's on the other.
No, it wasn't McLaughlin. No, he hadn't arrived by then.
I
It
was
was
debating with you why I wasn't there, but of course that's on the Isle of Wight, isn't it? The Isle of Wight Supporters Club. And
yeah.
at this time in 1990, I would have been living in Portsmouth, so that's why I wasn't there. So
Certainly, Kenny Black. Kenny Black came to the dinner because he was great entertainment.
that was Luther Blissett, wasn't it, for Bournemouth?
It was Luther Blissett, yeah. So the odd thing was at this stage, Bournemouth were comfortably mid-table, I think, and we were sort of towards the bottom, fighting relegation. And there we go, 1-0 behind.
It's a bit of a jammy goal, isn't it? It's like
Sean Brooks.
It's like he's kicked it off of Warren Neal, or they both kicked it at the same time, or.
I remember the Bournemouth fans chanting at the time that we were going down. And as it so happens, by the end of the season, one of the two teams went down, and it wasn't us.
Yeah, how did that end for them?
Yeah, it never ends well, does it?
So that's that one. Let's move it on then. Well, we're 1-0 down. That was Mike Fillery, wasn't it? Clearing that.
It was Mike Stiller, yes.
At the tail end of his.
And
Cultured Whittingham goal, wasn't it?
that's a typical Whittingham goal, isn't it? Nothing pretty about it, but
I'm going to get the ball behind
really
you.
effective.
Then I'm going to run faster than you, and I'm going to kick it at the goal.
Yeah.
Cracker.
And what else do you need to do? What else do you need? Does it all himself here as well. Little flick over. It's a bit of a toe punt, isn't it?
So we've got half a Fratton end at this time.
Yeah. They were grim days, really, weren't they?
Yeah. So moving on, we've got a move down the right-hand side of the pitch coming up.
And we get an England international gets involved in the action here, an England player who played in the World Cup. Can you think who that is?
Steve Wigley.
Not Steve Wigley, no. It's this guy here, the number 3. It's Gary Stevens.
Gary Stevens.
Across, and it's Whittingham again, of course.
Another long-range Whittingham effort from between 3 and 4 yards. So from the end of that game then, we're going to have a little listen to interviews with the 2 managers on the day. So let's see what they've got to say.
I thought that we were below par the first 45 minutes. I thought we were sunbathing the first 45 minutes, but we rolled up our sleeves and we just got an old-fashioned term. We just got stuck in. And here at Fratton Park, if you do that, then the crowd respond.
Well, it can't get any worse. I just haven't got an experienced defender on the staff now. Bondi's out with an ankle injury, Paul Miller suspended, and that was the last 2 defenders I had. So we play Wolves on Tuesday, and we just haven't got a defender on the staff of any experience.
If you've been talking to Harry Redknapp, I mean, the lad broke away and the lad should have scored. But I've said earlier that you should never apologise for being lucky. And we had that little bit of luck when we deserved to be lucky.
It's going to be close, you know. We've got ourselves into it, but it's difficult, David. It's as I say, you know, no one expected this amount of injuries. It's just one thing after the other, and they've all been, you know, 3 players have had major surgery.
Yes.
Good old Harry. Good old Harry. Didn't he look young?
Or down to the bare bones. And how many times have we heard that before?
We've heard that a few times, yeah. But yeah.
And
Didn't he look young?
Frank Burrows speaking a lot of sense. I think he did really understand the Pompey crowd and the mentality, didn't he?
Yeah. Well, Frank was a good manager for us, wasn't he? And this was obviously his second time, wasn't it? And yeah, I liked Frank. He was a good manager for us.
What year are we going to finish with?
We're going to 1983. A long way back.
Feels like we're going back to the golden age.
We're almost going back to black and white. Not quite.
This was quite a famous game away to Bournemouth, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. It was a time, the year that we won what was Division 3 at the time. We'd just been on a run of 6 wins in a row, and this game was going to be the 7th win in a row if we achieved it, which would have been a club record, I remember at the time. We'd never won 7 games in a row. It was a lot on it. The team were playing really well. And it was another one. I remember the supporters club coach trip we had down there. And we completely foxed Dorset Constabulary by coming in the wrong direction because we came from Lymington. The ferry from Yarmouth across to Lymington and completely fooled them by coming in from the wrong direction. It's these little things that stick in your mind.
Yeah. Okay, and a big Pompey crowd there that day.
It was a huge Pompey crowd, and it's another one of these ones. I know we always say these things, but it's amazing to think that it was not all ticket, the game. When you look at the crowd, when we see the pictures in a minute, it's absolutely rammed, and there was about 10,000 Pompey fans there. You all just turned up and paid your £2 on the gate to get in, or whatever it was.
It's crazy.
That just wouldn't happen now. It just doesn't happen.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to start the action. Pompey has stood over a free kick, and I think just making a substitution.
Yep, we got Bobby Doyle and John McLaughlin there, and Peter Ellis, who was a bit of a super sub for us at the time, coming on.
One of your favourites.
That's quite. Well, I did like Peter Ellis. Yeah, he was one of my original favourite players.
And worth remembering,
but it's
at this point, we only had one sub.
Indeed, yeah, and Peter Ellis just come on for Rollings, who'd got injured, and straight away, Alan Rogers brought down penalty.
Yeah,
pretty clear cut. I don't think there's much doubt about that. Yes, pretty clear cut.
Yeah.
So penalties.
Yeah, we had a shocker this season with the penalties.
We were talking about this just now, and we've actually we actually worked out we used 7 penalty takers during the season because everybody kept missing.
Go on then, reel some of them off, Tom.
Well, we started with Bobby Doyle. Alan Biley had a go. Neil Webb had a go. Ross, who we had on loan from Everton, had a go. Colin Sullivan. Eventually, it fell with Steve Aizlewood, who was probably the last person you would think of taking penalties, being a big, no-nonsense centre-back. But there we go. Look at that. He nice and calm, that, isn't it? Then towards the end of the season, we brought in Kevin Dillon, who then took over the penalty duties for a long time.
Yeah. So Steve Aizlewood's contribution to this game continues now.
Not just yet.
Oh,
we
no,
get
no.
surely we're going to get another penalty.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
that's more of a penalty than the first one.
You just look at that and you think, how on earth is the referee not giving it? And you see it from behind the goal, it's even worse. Oh, look. Oh, dear. Really a case of the referee said, I've given you 1 penalty, you're not getting another one.
Right. Now we get back to Steve Aizlewood. So this is the goal kick.
Into the second half, yeah?
Yeah.
Aizlewood's up for a challenge.
It's that header, isn't it? That's the...
Yeah. You see Bobby Campbell on the bench there pointing towards where he is. There he is, lying on the floor.
It's interesting looking at the bench. You can't see it very clearly there, but you've got Bobby Campbell just sat there in whatever random tracksuit he's wearing, and some bloke sat next to him in a bright yellow tracksuit. You wouldn't see that stuff today, would you? It's either be something smart or on brand, but they just
and about 9 subs sat there.
Yeah.
As we'd already said, the sub had already been used. The
bench. Who's he?
The one substitute had already been used, so this was a case of, don't worry, you've broken your nose, but you can carry on.
Yeah, you run it off.
You'll be all right.
Yeah, so Aizlewood plays on with a broken nose. Oh, Jesus Christ.
If you watch this in full, for a few minutes, he hasn't got a clue where he is for about 5 minutes.
Bobby Doyle just said to him, just fuck her off up front.
Just go up the other end, yeah. Okay. Can you imagine a player now just carrying on with that? Just doesn't it?
So let's finish this game off then with this corner. I like this bit.
Look who's in there and waiting for the corner to come in.
Yeah, and he's what's this little message to the corner taker? Yeah, give it to me. I can sort.
Here I am. Anyway, it's a Rogers corner. Clicked on, and Biley sticks it in.
We've covered Alan Biley before, haven't we? Great little player.
He was brilliant this year, wasn't he? 26 goals or whatever it was. But yeah, 2-0, and that was that clinched the game. And here's Aizlewood with his nose. Peter Ellis with the touch, and Biley with the finish.
Yeah, you can't imagine in today's game, can you? Some, professional footballer playing on with a broken nose. There'd be a lawsuit probably.
Well, they just wouldn't be allowed to now, would they?
No.
It's quite simple. You wouldn't be allowed to play on now.
Concussion protocol and all of that.
Yeah. And you notice that when he got injured there, he lay on the floor. It was quite clearly a head injury of some sort, but the game just carried on.
Yeah.
He was lying on the floor.
I mean, it never happened back then, but nowadays, obviously, we've had a few players actually die, haven't we, from not necessarily head injuries, but usually heart-related things. So the whole game has become a lot more medically aware, isn't it?
Oh yeah. I don't say it's a good thing that the game carried on while he was on the floor, but
it's just
the way it was. Yeah, just how it was.
Right, so we've got a new flag as well in the Pompey cards. We've got a Welsh flag for Steve Aizlewood.
And Steve looking much better. His nose looking a lot better there.
Yeah. we have a mystery on our hands. There's nowhere on the internet that confirms how tall Steve Aizlewood was. I've tried to find it. But, I've gone 5'11".
So we've worked this out by looking at the video of the game and judging him alongside other players, basically.
Yeah, he was roughly the same height as Mick Tate. We've determined celebrating his penalty. So he's 5'11". He might have been 6 foot, but we've no way of knowing. 201 appearances for Pompey, 13 goals.
That's quite a lot, isn't it? 201. I mean, he played through 3 divisions with us, through Division 4 into Division 2. Over 4 years.
So
he was with us quite a while.
I don't really remember him playing for us in the second tier, but I suppose he must have done as we gone up, and then I suppose at some point we just replaced him with better players.
Yeah. Well, eventually it came to the Blake and Gilbert stage where we brought in those two.
Yeah.
Aizlewood was pushed to one side, but he's a great servant for us, though.
Giving him Pompey power of 80. That's based on the 201 appearances, quite a number of games to play for Pompey.
He was skipper.
Yeah, captained us to when we were. I think he was captain more than anyone else when we won that Division 3 title.
Yeah.
So
2 promotions, of course, because he would have been involved in the Northampton promotion as well.
Yeah.
Even though he didn't actually play in that game, he was playing that season. So 2 promotions in 4 or 5 years. So a big effect for Pompey and a good player.
So I'll finish off with a little trivia question to torture you with.
Go on then.
Steve Aizlewood was the youngest ever player to play for Newport County at the time, 16 and 190 something days. Until that record stood until 2014 when someone else played for Newport that was younger than him. Any ideas who that could be? 2014.
Wow. So that would have been Newport when we were playing them in League 2. Ooh. I can't think of anybody. It's obviously going to be somebody who's gone on to great things, or somebody that we've signed.
Someone who's now playing for Portsmouth.
Oh, blimey. You've got me confused here. It's going to be obvious when you say it, isn't it?
It is a certain Regan Paul.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So when I was getting information to put his card together, it just jumped out at me that, Regan Paul. Oh. Yeah. So,
of course, he is Welsh. Yeah, well, he is Welsh, but I would never have got that.
Started out at Newport County. Obviously,
there you go.
Before going on to greater things, and then obviously much greater things when he signed for Pompey.
Yep. Hopefully, we'll see him next season, back and fully fit.
Absolutely, yeah. So that's a little journey through time looking at Bournemouth games, Tony.
Yeah, some good ones there, aren't there?
Yeah, and a fair mixture as well. So hopefully, it might even be of some interest to some Bournemouth fans. Might look back at some fond memories there as well.
We've been fair, as you said. We actually even put a Bournemouth win in there amongst it. So
absolutely. All right, and Tony, thanks for that.
Okay. Cheers. Enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
See you on the next one.
Okay. Cheers.